it's Sarah, and today I'm here to do my September reading wrap-up. Okay, so I realize we're already like a week into October, but things have been crazy. So I had a really good reading month in September. I read 7 books. First book that I read was Still Life by Louise Penny. I listened to this on audiobook. So Louise Penny has a series of mystery novels. I think there are about 8 or 9 in the series currently. And this is the first one in that series. Now, my mom is obsessed with Louise Penny and this series. And recently, Louise Penny did a signing and a book event in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. So my mom and I drove up there to see her because my mom is just as big of a book nerd / fangirl as I am, although we typically obsess over different things. So I did want to read the first book at least, so I kind of knew what her writing was about when I went to the book event. And I'm really glad that I did because I really enjoyed it. I liked the writing style and the characters. I thought it was a little deeper than what I tend to expect from mystery novels, but also I did not solve the mystery by the end until, it was revealed, so I thought that was good. Okay, so in the beginning of the month, I went to the Decatur Book Festival, and David Levithan was there. He was talking about his new book, Another Day, which is technically the second book in this series, the first one being Every Day. So, Every Day is a book about this person named A who is in a different body every single day. And A develops a romance with a girl named Rhiannon. So Another Day is the exact same story, but it's written from Rhiannon's point of view, whereas Every Day is written from A's point of view. And David Levithan was talking about how he wrote it so that you could read it out of order, and it was very interesting for him hearing from people who had read it out of order. So after hearing all of that, I wasn't too worried about reading it out of order, and I picked up Another Day and I read this one first, and I absolutely loved it. I flew through it in like a day or two. And then I read Every Day next. And I have a copy of this, but I left it at my boyfriend's house. So I'm just gonna put up the cover. But yes, I would definitely recommend reading these if you're into that kind of premise. I will say that the ending of both stories felt a little unresolved to me, but David Levithan did announce that he's going to be continuing the story and he's going to do another book in the series, so I'm thinking that's probably why. Okay, so then I reread The Walls Around Us by Nova Suma. I kind of joined this book club in Atlanta called the Not So YA Book Club for adults who read YA, and this was a book that they were reading in September, which I wanted to reread anyway because I have a writing residency with Nova Suma coming up in November, and also it's just one of those books that lends itself to rereading. So I did a video about this book earlier, the first time I read it, so I will link to that down below, and I'm not gonna say that much about this book. If you're interested, check out the video. But I will say that the first time around I read the physical copy, and this most recent time I listened to it on audiobook. And I thought it was a really interesting experience getting both of those because I had a completely different experience listening to it, and I just thought that was interesting. Okay, so then I listened to The Miseducation of Cameron Post by Emily Danford. I actually heard about this book from Dawn at Dinosaur in the library. She did a really cool book haul video not that long ago, and it was all LGBT themed books. This book was beautiful and terrifying and disturbing and very real. It's a young adult book, but I feel like it was written in a more literary way than most of the commercial YA that you typically read. It was about a teenage girl who lives in a very small Christian conservative town in Montana in the 1990s. So when her aunt discovers that she is having a lesbian relationship, she gets sent to one of those de-gaying camps. It was really disturbing and powerful and thought-provoking, and it was kind of hard to read at some points, but I feel like it was a really important book to read, and I would recommend it to anyone who is interested in, LGBT books. So many of you may have heard, but Wayne Dyer passed away recently, which was very sad. Wayne Dyer is a self-help kind of new age writer. I've read several of his books in the past, and I really enjoyed them. So after he passed, his family and his publisher made all of his books $1.99 on Amazon. So I downloaded like 4 of them. And I got the audio narration with one of them as well. And that was Wishes Fulfilled, which is the one I listened to this month. It's all about manifesting the life that you want and, achieving things that you want to achieve. It was a good read. I did not quite connect with it as much as I have some of his previous books, but it was worth the read, I would say. So then I reread Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. So for those of you who don't know, Fangirl is about a girl named Kath who writes Simon Snow fan fiction. And Simon Snow is kind of like the Harry Potter in this universe. So Rainbow Rowell just released a book called Carry On, which is kind of a spin-off of this novel. It's actually the fan fiction that she wrote. So I knew that Carry On was coming out, and I wanted to reread this book because of that. I loved this book, probably even more the second time around. I love the characters and their relationships, and I love how it deals with mental illness and anxiety. I thought that was very realistic. And most of all, I loved how Kath used fan fiction to kind of discover her own writing voice. I will say, the only thing that bugs me about this book is the one Harry Potter reference that is in the book. That is basically saying there are 2 best-selling book/movie series about a boy wizard, which seems a little far-fetched to me, that there would be basically 2 Harry Potters in the same universe. Doesn't really seem like it works. And it's only referenced one time, and I feel like it's kind of a throwaway, and I feel like it just would have been better for me if they just would have taken that out. But aside from that one little tiny line, I think the book is pretty much perfect. So those were the books that I read in September. How about you? What did you read in September? What was your favorite book that you read in September? Have you read any of these books? I would love to hear about it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos about books or writing or music. And thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.